The Sunday morning show. I am the MC Face Man. It's December 30th, 2018. I was up pretty late last night, so I got up a little late. So I'm still, I'm pretty much ready to go, but just need to turn on the studio lights and send out some promo tweets letting people know that I am live right now. We start every show off. Let me see. I just realized something. There we go. We start every show off with a song. I'm going to talk a little bit about my friend Super King Armor, local hip-hop artist here in New York City. I received his newest release, which is an album and graphic novel combo. The album's been out for a couple years. This is a song from the album, Gone is the Illusion, but he actually created a graphic novel based on that. So I'm going to play this song for you right now while I send some promo tweets to get more people in here. And we're going to get started with the show with some stuff that's been going on this week in the news, in the general news, political news, and then gaming news. And definitely feel free to join in on the conversation. I definitely love to hear from the chat. So don't be shy, comment. Let me know what's up. All right.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. The world talks shit, but when you call this bluff, then gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. More than the illusion, I was pumpkin heads cousin. Niggas round this town over here pushing my buttons. Give me daps, always act like they never frontin'. Always open up their mouth and got to say something. He too old to rock the mic, so why he still spittin'? Well, listen up and let me bring something to your attention. That collab with that MC you always been wishing, that got turned down before he even gave it a listen. He the same bitch as me, so who the fuck you think you trickin'? This is never about age, you've been checking for position. You open up your ass and let him stick his dick in. It feels filled with bacteria from lack of circumcision. The music is fucking garbage and not worth a single listen. You worse than Parsons Boulevard, Kennedy Fried Chicken. If you can't take the heat, then get the fuck up out my kitchen. Bitch, don't you listen? Bitch, don't you listen? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. The world talks shit, but when you call this bluff, then gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. The world talks shit, but when you call it's bluff, then gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. It's my entitlement, things aren't making sense to me. All my peers Casey and my name is Kelly Anthony. You're killing me, but telling me you'll forever love me. Like Whitney, post eulogy, you'll shove it right in front of me. But when I throw a show, there's nobody's there in front of me. Gone is the illusion, maybe I'm going crazy. There's a fate that which no man is ever exempt, and that's familiarity breeds whole lots of contempt. You'll see so much of me, my presence is predictable. I use one of magic principles, completely go invisible. Gone is the illusion, I know what really happened. It's me and always has been, this lack of taking action. Like Mattel, I thought I gave it all I has, bro. Now knowing down this rabbit hole, I have much deeper to go. I'll be damned if I become a crab in a bucket, claw my way to a glass ceiling just so I can touch it. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. The world talks shit, but when you call this bluff, then gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. The world talks shit, but when you call this bluff, then gone is the illusion, the wall is crushed. If this was draft 2003, I'm Carmelo Anthony. With Wade, Bosh, and LeBron, 3 champs, arm in arm. Ring fast, Ramadan seems a suit I have on. Scheme draft, 3rd degree, burns. Wanna play with me? No fucking losses when I play on NFL game day. Awful sounds when I turn muscle bound from skin and bone. Sasquatch, Terrapod, trailer parks and suburban homes. Death Ada, gladiator, god of this Game of Thrones. There's a difference between me and you serving tracks and hitting cones. Exceptional ability, EA Sports, I'm in the game. Hercules, atrophied, I'm done with you lames. Gone is the illusion, Dean, I let go of it, because grudges only hurt the person who's holding it. Like this rapper I saw at Santos party house, drunk rapping bitter and burnt the fuck out. Spitting on himself but couldn't get his words out? Not me. I ride till the wheels fall off, then hit a ditch. Fly through the windshield, then my skull will split. Survive a vegetative state, my limbs and hands will twitch. And use sign language so the deaf can feel me spit. Ashes to ashes,
Dust to dust,
gone is the illusion.
the wall is crushed.
The world talks shit, but when you call,
Call us bluff,
then gone is the illusion. The
wall is crushed.
Yeah, so Super King Armor I've known for just about 10 years. From the New York City hip hop scene. He's definitely an awesome artist, hardworking artist, one of the hardest working people I know. His level of his level of determination and ability to overcome things throughout his life is is just a testament to his character and how strong he is both physically and mentally. And he's also very creative to have to be able to draw at the level he does and to perform and create music the way he does. He's also a great freestyler. He wins like Freestyle Mondays all the time. Freestyle battling against the city's best battlers and stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you. So we're gonna get into the what's been going on this week. It's been kind of a slow week. It's Christmas week. I've just been of course I chilled a bit on Christmas. Oh shit, I just spilled coffee on me. Swirling this cup. Wow. It's no big deal. Need my caffeine. Because I never give myself enough time to eat breakfast before these shows, so. So yeah, it's been kind of a slow week, I think, a little bit, with the news, especially the gaming news in particular. So, we might not spend too much time on the gaming news, but still try to provide a good show for you guys. Even if we ended a little bit early, there's a couple things I wanna cover. Let's see. Let me head to my playlist of some of the things I set aside to talk about on today's show. So in New York City, we had a bit of a social media scare. We thought that aliens might have been invading New York City. The entire sky just about was lit up blue, and with flashing lights and smoke and things like that. And a lot of people were recording it. There's lots of footage online of people recording it with their phones. A lot of them even commenting as they're recording it, like, "Oh, the aliens are coming" and stuff. And I didn't really think it was looking like aliens from what it looked like. I was like, maybe this is a EMP test or something like that, or maybe just a glitch in the Matrix. Who knows, right? But it turned out that apparently it was just some electrical plant or something, power plant or whatever, some electrical transformer blew up. And that's what happened. I saw a video where they're closer to it, so that it seems a little more legit. It seems like people actually had witnessed the actual plant blowing up. So here's this one video. See, this guy titled it "Asshole Aliens Invading New York City." So let's check that out.
The funny thing is, the AC just went all funny, but I don't know if that's coincidence or not. Why is it changing colors? It's changing red, I don't know if the camera's catching all the colors.
It's changing colors, but
Red, you see, like super bright red. What the fuck is going on?
I see smoke.
Okay, I'm turning out the AC. Let me see if I can hear better. I think that sound is outside.
I hear a humming.
Aliens. Can you mute the TV, please? It might just be regular noise. Can you go to the news station, actually?
I was trying to go to a news station. What's a news station? Like, what's CNN or whatever?
2, 4, 5, 7. Those. Go to guide. It'll be easier. I can't come up with any reason why. Because it doesn't look like fireworks. Why those lights would be changing color?
And there's so much smoke. What's in that area?
I wish I didn't start recording this vertically.
And like most of the videos are vertical. Oh my god, it bugs me, right? Isn't it so annoying? Like everybody should be masters at filming by now. Everybody has a damn smartphone.
I wonder if the AC went off fritzy by coincidence too. Makes me want to get in the car and get the fuck out of here, to be honest.
Maybe it did cause like a little bit of a power surge. Could have
North.
maybe shut off his AC. I don't know. I'm not an electrician. Sure. I don't know.
That's a lot of smoke. And it's getting... You can't tell with the camera just because it's... I opened the window. You want to put a coat on, get out of here?
They're getting ready to bug out.
I'll put a coat on, get out of here. I'm trying to decide if I'm being paranoid or not.
I mean, it's aliens.
It's not aliens. I don't think it's aliens.
You can excuse them.
What I'm worried is more about that smoke. Because that's a lot of smoke. And the colors are changing, and I'm like, what could that possibly be? Because that's super bright.
What area is that?
It has a center. It's not Manhattan. It's not Manhattan because Manhattan's over there. You can actually see the skyline on this phone. It looks really cool.
And the reason why it looks so bright, like there's like two bright spots.
If it were
You see, like,
fireworks,
the brightness in the
fireworks.
from the ground and the brightness up in the clouds. That's because
but we
the
would
clouds
see
are
them if they were so
reflecting
bright.
light
We would
from
see them in the
ground. So
sky.
that's why I guess a lot of
But
people.
what
are
worries
confused.
me is the smoke. Okay, that was weird. I swear to God, the alien conspiracy theorists are going to be all over that. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, so that was just a transformer that that blew up in Astoria. If you want to see video of like people that got closer, you can find that. But I just thought that was interesting because in social media, like people were bugging out. They were like, "What? It's aliens?" Oh man. So, what's next on the news list today? Now, this is probably the most important news that we're going to discuss today. Russia announced this new like hypersonic glider delivery system for nuclear weapons. And supposedly, according to Russia-owned media, RT America, the United States doesn't have any defense for it just yet. We don't have anything that can counter it. So nuclear deterrence is pretty much out the window at this point if all of this information is correct.
Do you like ads?
No, I don't like ads.
That's why we created Ad Remover.
Oh.
It's a product that makes it so you never have to see an
All Our top story this hour, major new missile delivery system called Avangard has been tested and approved in Russia. RT is the first channel to show unique footage from the Defense Ministry's first public test run of the hypersonic glide vehicle, which is capable of firing nuclear missiles. We get the rest of the story from RT's Maria Fanoshina reporting from Moscow.
Actually, Vladimir Putin, while he was overseeing the test launch of Russia's weapon known as Avangard Live, he actually explained that, saying that it was great success, it was excellent New Year's gift to the entire nation, and also that it will ensure Russia's security for decades. So I think this is all we have to know about this launch. I have to remind you that Avangard was among new nuclear strategic weapons that Vladimir Putin presented earlier in March, saying that Russia had to develop its military industry and its missiles, its weapons, following U.S.'s success in this sphere and U.S.'s development of their anti-missile and missile defenses. So it's all about Russia's security as far as we can understand from what Vladimir Putin said. Just to remind you what happened. This boost glide weapon was launched from the Dombarovsky missile base in the southern Ural Mountains, and as Kremlin reported, successfully hit a training target on the Kura shooting range on Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia's east, some 6,000 kilometers away. But that's not maybe even very impressive. You've just said that this weapon is said to be able to circle the Earth in just 30 minutes. So 6,000 kilometers is nothing for Avangard.
But it can circle the Earth in 30 minutos. Hold on a second. We need to really understand what the fuck. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Let's say, how can we do this? What's a good way to measure with this? Well, let's see. Port Moresby, directions, flying, let's see, California. How's it just, how far is it really just from California to Papua New Guinea? That's, Google's not telling me the distance here. How do I find out the distance? Well, I mean, as you can see, okay, maybe this is a good enough frame of reference. A regular plane going from California to Papua New Guinea, does it really take 23 hours? Hold on, how about from Japan? I guess that would be a more, or let's just say, so we're talking about Russia. Let's say from Moscow to California. Okay, so that'd be like, and that's kind of cheating because on the top there, right? But they're saying this thing can circle the whole globe in 30 minutes? If it takes 15 hours to get from here to Moscow, that just gives you an idea of how fast this new weapon is that the Russians have.
Its main feature, and a very important one, is that it is said to be able to maneuver while flying, while gliding, so that it can avoid anti-missile defenses. So it is reported, and Vladimir Putin repeated it today after the launch, that it cannot be intercepted by the enemy's missile defenses. So it is almost uncatchable. And also, we hear that it may carry a 2-megaton warhead. To be honest, I don't quite understand what exactly is this, because that sounds really huge and impressive.
2-megaton warhead. Let me see. Let's see. 2-megaton warhead. Nuclear weapon yield. It's like measured at basically as a TNT equivalent. So how much is in a megaton? Megaton is millions of tons of TNT. So, I mean, it's definitely many times more powerful than the nuclear bombs that have dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because little boy was 13 to 18 kilotons. That's thousands of TNT, thousand I don't know, thousand sticks of TNT. I don't know how this shit is measured really exactly. Fat Man was 20 to 22. Those are kilotons. You need 1,000 kilotons to make 1 megaton. So it would really be something like this, the B-83 nuclear bomb, but a little bit stronger than that, I guess. And that's enough to wipe out a whole city, I'm pretty sure. This was developed in the 1970s. So we've only really seen 2 nuclear bombs dropped on targets, on cities. I mean, I would assume that, if Russia or China were to drop nuclear bombs onto the United States, well, I don't know about China, but I don't think Russia would necessarily bomb cities. I think they would be more interested in attacking military bases. There's the idea of like air bursting, like just exploding it, like not even just in the air, just so that there isn't as much fallout. Because if you detonate the nuclear bomb as it hits the ground, it the soil absorbs all the radiation, gets blown up into the air, and that makes it worse. But from what I understand, from what I've read, if they launch a nuclear missile and explodes in midair, it'll just damage things, but it won't have so much fallout. Because ideally, I don't think China or Russia want to completely scorch America. There's a lot of valuable resources here. If they could figure out a way to conquer America, I'm sure they would. China is an rising imperialistic power all up in the South China Sea. So do you ever go looking on Google Maps? Sometimes I look at it just for fun, and then you see some islands and stuff. They're invisible, like you can't see what's going on. So let's look at the South China Sea right here. So we're talking like this area. What are some? Let's see. China islands. Imperialist. Let me see. Lands bombers on island. This was back in May. Look at this. And they basically take like a fucking patch of sand and like reinforce that shit, basically making almost an artificial island just to put a base on it. They say which island this is? BBC, it'd be great if you told us what the fucking name of the island is. Oh. Okay, this is Woody Island. Let's see Woody Island. Woody Island. is this. You see that one photo that we just saw? Oh shit, we can see. Look at this one. Dang, they set up all this? And the rapid expansion of China is probably, the foreign threat that worries me the most. Because it looks like, Russia is more interested in, like, reclaiming lands that were historically part of Russia, like Crimea was, like, a historically part of Russia. So it's understandable that they would want that little piece of land back. But China is looking to be more strategic about where they're capturing points here. It's like they're capturing some points that are like have some serious military significance against the United States, because you got Woody Island here, and the United States is just across the Pacific right over here, and so this is the South China Sea right here. So they're trying to take over a lot of this stuff. And I was just watching some documentaries about World War II. It's crazy that like pretty much everybody involved, all the major players in World War II were basically trying to start their own empire. Mussolini wanted to conquer the world. Hitler wanted to conquer the world. The Japanese wanted to conquer the world. I mean, UK was already conquering the world since before World War II through imperialism. And post-World War II pretty much opened the door for America to start conquering the world. Although, I mean, ever since its inception, America has been, colonizing as well, especially with Latin America. Fucking raped Latin America, and basically sold it off to like fruit companies and shit. So yeah, it's a bit of a concern, man. It's a bit of a concern. Also, because like China just has so many people and so much technology. They're constantly developing new technology, and they don't give a damn about ecological consequences. They're just gagging on smog over there in a lot of these cities, and like just digging up all the resources. They're doing all kinds of shit, and building ghost cities, and I don't know, man. Look how much desert there is. You ever notice how much desert there is? Those weren't always desert. More and more desert just, is created due to mismanagement of our planet. Particularly with communism. If you look up communism, ecological, is this a good one? Eco-socialism. If you think communism is bad for people, check out what it did to the environment. Okay, yeah, you can find stuff like this all over the internet. But they don't seem to have a good picture to really illustrate. Okay, this is bullshit. No, but if you look at, let's see, Stalin, environment. I don't know, bro. I don't have the time to really start looking for a legitimate source for that. So you just have to look for it yourself. But I've seen plenty of documentation of the effects of communism on the environment, because under communism they just put people to work, just fucking take whatever you can from the earth. I know it doesn't sound like a great argument because I didn't find a good source for that in the 2 minutes that I looked, but it's out there if you want to look for it. Well, anyway, let's get back to this crazy ass news that probably got ignored in the mainstream media. I don't see anybody talking about it on Twitter, that's for sure. People are talking about Bird Box. And, I mean, they're always talking about, bitching about Trump. They're not talking about this hypersonic glider that could actually fucking kill some people, though.
And it shows how powerful this weapon is. And also, we know that it can fly the atmosphere at 20 times the speed of sound, again, bypassing the enemy's missile defenses. And Putin...
Is that Mach 20? 20 times the speed of sound? Because isn't Mach 1 the speed of sound? What is this? Well, we at least have some kind of aircraft that goes just as fast, but the point is this thing can dodge anti-aircraft somehow.
Himself said that it flies as a meteorite. So yeah, it's a very interesting weapon, and we heard from Russia's president that it will be used by Russia's strategic forces starting next year.
To continue this conversation, joining me now is former Pentagon official Michael Maloof. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today.
So here's the thing. I mean, I know that RT is a Russian national media organization, but as far as like news about America, they're pretty on point, and they often have a lot of American experts and things show up on their shows. So let's just continue here with this.
Hey, like Maria Finoshino was saying, this weapon is pretty impressive. Putin even says it will be impossible to intercept this weapon, ensuring Russia's security. And he says even for decades to come. But how is that possible?
Well, it's quite possible given not only its hypersonic speed, the fact that it's maneuverable in space, and that we don't have an ABM system or an anti-ballistic missile system capable of hitting it at this time. And what's problematic is that these weapons are being developed when in response to President Trump's desire to put missiles in Europe, and that's what this is in response to, frankly. So we're going to be seeing a whole new array of new weapons systems, including missiles such as this, and it looks like we're involved now in a unregulated arms race once again, and this is unfortunate.
With Russia. Now, although the U.S., as you're saying, doesn't have anything in place that can defend itself against this weapon, this new hypersonic weapon, do you think, though, in the next decade or so, the U.S. will try to come up with something that can intercept it?
Well, intelligence probably was very aware of it. They're probably working on something now. The reality is we don't have anything now, and it'll take time. And given the turmoil in the budgets, the question is, will money be available? Money that has gone to finance wars could have been used to upgrade our capabilities, the U.S. capabilities, but that wasn't.
And that's like the essential thing here is that in this war on terrorism, we've been, our military has been sent out to hold these foreign countries, under our control so that we can extract their resources, right? But at the same time, you're spending billions and billions of dollars, and a lot of that money just finds its way into the military-industrial complex, and a bunch of these other contractors, the weapons contractors, the aircraft makers, Boeing, whoever makes the weapons and stuff, like Glock, or I don't know what the fuck, what are the other popular ones, whatever. You get the point. So instead of worrying about our own national defense, we're out there spreading our military out. Fucking, you know, this only helps those people that are involved getting a cut of that money. We're not getting like kickbacks from that shit. And we're still in debt. Like, we're now like $21 trillion in debt. I mean, come on now. Obama contributed to the debt. Trump is contributing to the debt. I mean, eventually the economy is going to crash. You know, if we don't pay back this debt, the dollar is going to just crash. It's not going to be worth anything. And you're going to be carrying barrels of dollars to go buy a Snickers bar. Just like in Germany after World War I, where they literally carried barrels of money. Hyperinflation, baby. It's called hyperinflation. You see? Kids playing with stacks of money. Huh. This guy friggin' going to buy an apple, probably. When cash is worthless. Okay, she made a dress out of the cash. Well, she looks like she's chilling. The heck? Some more. I guess that was a popular thing. I don't know. But yeah.
That wasn't the case. So as a consequence, we're going to be leading from behind once again.
Maria Finoshina, she mentioned some of the features of this missile. They include flying almost 4,000 miles away. Yeah. The missile can withstand temperatures up to 3,632 degrees Fahrenheit. And according to Putin, obviously it can't be intercepted by any existing missile defense and can bypass the enemy's missile defense. Correct. So in what circumstances do you believe Russia would use this weapon?
I think only if attacked. I don't think it's a Russia.
So that's according to Putin. You know, who really knows if that's true or not? You know, you got to realize that the United States, every country has, but especially the United States, has a bunch of technology that they don't tell us about. Generally speaking, going by history, the United States is about, you know, like DOD, Department of Defense, DARPA, the agency in the government that creates new technology. They're typically like 50 years ahead of civilian technology. I used to work at the Intrepid Museum, and we had the Blackbird. And it was created in the 50s, but only revealed like within like the 90s or something like that. It was kept a secret for a while. The Lockheed is another military contractor. The Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird is a long-range Mach 3 plus strategic reconnaissance aircraft that was operated by the United States Air Force. So they had Mach 3 plus since like the 50s, pretty much. It was developed as a black project from the Lockheed A-12 reconnaissance aircraft in the 1960s. Okay, 60s. That was the Cold War then. By Lockheed, well, from post-World War II to like 1989, it was a Cold War. It was a long-ass Cold War. We're in a Cold War right now. We're in like Cold War II at this point. Okay, so it's basically invisible to radar, you know, technology that, you know, we assume that we didn't even have this. And it was used from 1964 to 1998. Since 1976, it has held the world record for the fastest air-breathing manned aircraft. So only one person actually could fly this. And fun fact, they had to wear a spacesuit, and they had to crawl in because it was so narrow. They had to crawl in to get into the cockpit. So imagine how claustrophobic that was. But this thing could actually, like, basically go up to near space and remain invisible to radar. So it's not, the info isn't really popping out at me like when they revealed this, but basically I think it was after they finished using it, after it was put out of commission, that they actually revealed it. So
I think would not attack on its own, but it's meant to be a deterrent simply because given the ABM systems that the U.S. has deployed so far, it's actually threatened Moscow's and even China's nuclear deterrence. And this has posed a national security threat to both of them.
So if you don't know, the idea behind nuclear deterrence is that, well, I have a nuke and you have a nuke. We could kill each other, but if I were to launch a nuke at you, you would just launch a nuke back at me because, you know, we likely won't be able to completely destroy you with the first attack. So then everybody dies, basically, right? You know, and with just about every nuclear system that there is before this new plane or whatever, you can detect when it's been launched. So this thing is so fast and maneuverable that, you know, it doesn't even matter if you know it's out there because you can't stop it. So having this kind of technology kind of ruins the whole nuclear, you know, it ruins the playing field. It makes it uneven so that, you know, it gives Russia more of an upper hand as far as nuclear deterrence.
Of those countries. I will see China. I think China also will be developing something very similar in the very, very near future. So the arms race is on, and this is the unfortunate thing. And we've got to be able to de-escalate. And the fact that the United States, particularly through John Bolton and company, want to pull out of all these arms treaties.
See, what this guy's saying is making sense. He's a former Pentagon official. But I'm sure if you were to pass a link over to the liberals obsessed with Russia collusion and shit like that, wouldn't even bother looking at this. You understand? Not to say that foreign governments don't try to interfere with other governments, but this dude Mueller was investigating Trump for like 2 years or over 2 years, like ever since he got inaugurated, and Trump hasn't been arrested. He's not in jail. I don't understand why these obsessed liberals keep saying every day on Twitter, "Oh, he's gonna get arrested. Oh, I can't wait, blah, blah, blah." It's mental illness, dude. It seriously is. Like, you're like creating a world that, you know, in your mind, just, you know, fabricated by, you know, whatever left-wing media you're watching. And I'm not saying right-wing media is any better, but if you're just paying attention to left-wing media, they're spoon-feeding you an agenda. They're spoon-feeding you an ideology. You don't understand reality by just allowing an idea, you know, just trying to adhere to an ideology, so that everything you look at in the world has to be filtered through this ideology. There's no way to understand anything outside of the ideology. And that's how people don't learn, they don't grow, and they drive themselves crazy. Literally drive themselves crazy, exhibit legit psychological symptoms, you know, because they can't handle the truth. They can't handle they can't handle their views being challenged. They can't handle considering other possibilities. Oh, well, if it feels good, if it feels like the right thing, and, why listen to anything else? And anybody who disagrees with me is some kind of, Republican. And if I'm a Republican, then whoever disagrees with me is a libtard, and all this nonsense. Doesn't this all apply to myself? In what way? Because I'm an independent. Thanks for joining the chat, Silverhawk. So did you watch that show, Silverhawks? That was the shit. No. I bet you, Silver, I bet you assumed that I'm some kind of Republican. I am not. Is that what you assumed when you just jumped in here? This is what I'm talking about. This is the exact topic I'm talking about. What's up, Artie? Welcome to the chat. One of these streams. Hey, man, if you like it, stick around. If not, then don't. I mean, I have an independent viewpoints. If you want to discuss different topics, I'm here. If you just want to stick to whatever opinions that you're currently recycling in your brain that are fed to you by the mainstream media, that's cool too. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not here to try to convince anybody of anything. I'm just here to do a show and share my opinions, but I'll be happy to reasonably discuss different things. But back to this news story about this freaking weapon that the Russians just developed that ruins the whole, nuclear deterrence idea, since we don't have any, apparently, well, according to Putin, we don't have any, the United States doesn't have any defense system that can counter this. And this is a former Pentagon official who's discussing this.
Arms control treaties, I think, is very unfortunate.
So what would you advise take place?
Well, I would advise that we calm down and start working and talking to one another. Right now, that's not happening.
That's correct. The liberal media will have you believe that, hey, we shouldn't talk to Russia. We shouldn't talk to our enemies. Simply for the fact that because it appears Trump is trying to be diplomatic. Don't you understand the mental illness in that? That no matter what, and I'm not a Trump supporter, okay? Don't get me wrong. But you have to see that, despite the fact that most politicians are fucking corrupt and they have none of your interests in mind, whether they're Republican or Democrat, you got to be able to objectively acknowledge when they do something right or when they do something wrong. So, for example, recently, another news story, just a kind of a side note, recently in the media, liberals were bashing Trump for pulling out of Syria. But we should be pulling out. This war on terror is bullshit. It was bullshit when Bush was in power. It was bullshit when Obama was in power. It's still bullshit. We shouldn't be out in the Middle East. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. What's Silverhawk got to say? I'm not making that assumption. I'm saying that everyone views the world through their own lens. I agree. I agree with you. I'm actually from Australia, so I don't even understand what Republicans, libs stand for. Okay, well, I mean, you gotta be specific when you say something as general as doesn't all of this apply to yourself? Because I don't know how long you've been watching or what you're responding to. So I'm sorry to have misconstrued, what you were asking me or whatever. But here in America, we have a lot of vocal partisans that either are all Republican or nothing or Democrat or nothing. Okay, and the fact of the matter is there isn't that much of a difference between Democrat or Republican. If you look at Obama's policies and Bush's policies, very similar, and Trump's policies very similar. They're all spending a bunch on the military, all racking up debt. We're now $21 trillion in debt. None of these politicians are trying to pay down the national debt. Eventually, the dollar is going to crash. So many economic experts keep talking about this, keep expecting this to happen. But anyways, we're getting a little bit off topic here. We're talking about this missile that Russia is developing that I'm concerned about for sure. I believe that every nation should have a strong defense. I mean, wouldn't you want to have defense? You know, wouldn't you want to be able to defend yourself if someone came in, try to rob your house or something like that? And you got a lot of liberals in America that are against gun ownership, but don't the police carry guns? Don't they protect you with weapons? I mean, they also fucking shoot people that shouldn't be shot, which is why I think people should be able to arm themselves, which I believe in the Second Amendment, okay? Because if someone tries to kill me, you better believe I'm going to fucking kill them. I'm going to do everything I can to not die. That's the number one thing. I mean, that's the number one thing for all beings. It's survival. You have to survive.
Now, I want to go back to something Maria Finoshina mentioned as you were watching her piece. She mentioned something to the effect of a 2-megaton warhead, and she said that didn't really mean much to her. For the average person, could you explain what that could be?
2 megatons is pretty large. It's probably about 10 times larger than Hiroshima.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So thank you so much. We're going to leave
Pleasure.
that right there.
10 times larger than Hiroshima. So that I looked at that. We looked at that earlier. The bomb that dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they were between like 15 and 20 kilotons. This is 2 megatons. So there's 1,000 kilotons in a megaton, right? That's how that works, right? So Russia has this thing that could just like completely wipe out a huge city. Like, I mean, I can't even really imagine that because, I mean, the bombs we dropped on Japan, like, completely decimated those cities. And those were much smaller, much less powerful. So, you know, this was a big part of the news I wanted to discuss there. So we're going to move on to the next topic and see what else there is to talk about. So, I mean, yeah, part of the news was that Trump pulled out of Syria. I mean, here's the thing. Because he's putting a lot of money into the military. You know, this pulling out of Syria, it's a good step. But, I mean, we need to pull out of Iraq and Afghanistan as well. And I'm sure there's like special forces in and out of Iran, things like that. I mean, seriously, we just need to leave them alone, leave them to their own devices. You know, Iran isn't trying to conquer the world like China or Russia is, well, particularly China. So, I don't know, man. All right, so this was an interesting clip. A comedian being kicked off stage for inappropriate jokes. So we might look at this if we can cut
this
through
little thumb
to
drive
the
has an entire operating system on it,
arguments.
meaning it's going to run your whole.
The show, it's about.
This is basically about you know, another example of college campuses censoring speakers because they just don't like what they have to say. And this guy makes a joke that really has no offensive basis whatsoever. It really is to explaining a reality. And someone took offense to that.
Asian identities and all that.
So we'll see.
If you looked at someone wrong, they'd hit you with a brick, right? Fine, kind of throwaway line. This girl goes, "That's not true." I'm like, "Well, yeah, obviously." With microphones and like one trench coat, and they're just like, they're like, it's time. They literally say there's been a change. Thank you, Nimesh. There's been a change in program. You know, we've received from comments. Like another 30 seconds, and then as I'm concluding my talking something, and then out of my corner of my left eye,
heckling, or is she?
I say a joke where I say my dad landed in Newark. Back when he landed, it was called Brick City because if you looked at someone wrong, they'd hit you with a brick, right? Fine, kind of throwaway line. This girl goes, "That's not true." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm like, obviously, you know,
a fucking joke."
So I'm just kidding. But like I know what she's trying to do. I'm just trying to talk to her, and I'm trying to talk about like trying to get back into material. And that's like probably minute 20 or something. And then out of my corner of my left eye, I see the 3 girls that invited me to do the show initially in May or June, like gather. And I'm like, that's kind of strange. I still talk to this girl for like another 30 seconds. And then as I'm concluding my talking to her, because I realized that's not going to go anywhere, they come on stage with microphones in like one trench coat, and they're just like, they're like, it's time. They literally say there's been a change. Thank you, Nimesh. There's been a change in program. We've received some comments from members. We think that's enough.
How long had you been on stage for?
20 something minutes at this point.
And it was that one joke that did it?
So I'm not even mad at this point. I'm just like in shock. I'm like, this is like an episode of Impractical Jokers or something. Like, what are you talking about? I still have 45 minutes left. 'Cause I'm slated to do an hour. I'm like, really? What are you? And they say, yeah, there's been comments, like people are upset or offended. And I'm like, I feel like we're having a good time. And some of the crowd cheers. And then I'm like, why do I got to go? And one of the girls goes, the tech has to leave. And I look at the tech has to leave. This is all on YouTube. Like someone put the YouTube video out of this particular part. And I go, they better be leaving because I could see the tech people. And I'm looking at them like, you got to bounce, dude? And
so the tech people, meaning the people that are coordinating the electronics the broadcast the show.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, whoever's running. Like, I don't need tech. I don't have fucking pyro. I just
the microphone's on.
Yeah.
That's it.
What do you mean the tech has to go?
The tech people they're coming up with lies.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why she lied because she's trying to save face and not like try, I guess, not to embarrass me or whatever. But I'm like, I'm not gonna believe that shit that all three of you came out to be like the tech has to go. And then I go, is it because the tech has to leave or because I'm saying some things that made people uncomfortable? And one of the other girls goes, we think there's a distinction between being uncomfortable and being disrespectful. And I'm like, don't use your big words on me. But in my brain, I'm like, what?
It's really a shame what's been happening to comedians. I mean, being a comedian is not easy, dude. You gotta spend time really writing and trying to think of funny jokes. It's not easy to come up with funny ass jokes. Like, I don't think I would be a good comedian because I'm not good at writing jokes. Like, I've tried. I'm more about like situational comedy, just like on the fly kind of shit, like things that'll just come to me, But a lot of comedians have gotten a lot of hate for, just trying to make people laugh. And, how else are you going to talk about these uncomfortable topics like race and religion and politics and stuff like that? Comedy is the best way to really talk about valid truths and observations and perspectives in a way that is palatable, because I mean, it just feels good to laugh. And like, you can't go to a comedy show with a stick up your ass. You got to be prepared to hear some wild shit, or else it's going to be really boring. I mean, have you ever gone to a comedy show and like, it's just too tame or whatever? Like, I mean, they don't, you got to try to push boundaries when you're a comedian.
What are you talking about? I don't think I've been disrespectful at all. And there are some people who are like, what the fuck is going on? Majority of people are like, what the fuck is going on? But like, there's a pocket of the crowd where the three Asian American Alliance leaders and like the rest of the sort of crew was like waiting. And I think some of them cheer when there's a distinction between disrespectful and being uncomfortable. I'm like, what are you talking? I haven't been disrespectful in the slightest. What are you talking about? And then one girl goes, we think you're not entitled to be making some of the jokes you're making. And I'm like, my trigger word is entitled. Like I'm thinking, and at this point I'm like, I'm too almost in shock, deer in headlights kind of to like even process anger. I'm just like, now I'm just trying to assess what they're specifically saying. Like, which joke specifically? And they're like, we think that gay and black joke is particularly offensive or whatever. And I'm like, and then at this point, I'm like, instead of explaining that the joke is quite progressive, I'm like, I literally got that joke from an audience member at Stand Up New York in like 2011. Like, I remember the conversation distinctly because it was such like one of these sort of, oh shit, that's a good bit moments.
Right.
And I tell them that, and they were like,
you got it talking to a guy in the crowd?
So I was on stage, and I used to live in Hell's Kitchen in New York, and there's like a gay black constituency that would always like make fun of me when I was like leaving my apartment, but like ribbing me, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so like I'm trying to talk about that on stage at Stand Up New York. doing like a check spot or whatever, and I'm talking to the crowd, and then there's a gay black guy that like heckled me, and I start talking to him, and then at some point I'm like, this is how you know being gay can't be a choice, right? And he starts dying, and we have like a good rapport. I'm like, oh, perfect, this is a great bit that I just got.
Right.
And so I tell them that.
So the joke was basically he's saying like he knows that being gay isn't a choice, because who would choose to be both black and gay? Because blacks and gays are disenfranchised and face a lot of discrimination and challenges and things like that. So that was basically the joke, and they got offended by that. But that's basically, you're just stating a fact, like a simple fact that people, but just for the fact he said black, gay, like, dude, people are becoming way too easy to want to censor people. You got freedom of speech is no joke. You gotta support the First Amendment, because as soon as you start silencing some people, they'll be silencing more people, and then when it's time to silence you, there won't be anybody to help you out. Okay, so moving on to this video. I just saw this yesterday. It was posted it was posted a few days ago. I kept seeing it trending on YouTube, so I was like, fuck it, let me. But there's a funny part. Are you
fucking insane?
Where's the one where the guy flips his fucking car? Was it this one? This is just a road rage compilation. But what's funny is a lot of people with these cameras are
kidding me? Hold the fuck over.
Doing the wrong thing. Oh, this guy. He's trying to get this guy to pull him over because he hit him.
Call 911 now.
Pennsylvania, of course. A lot of crazy ass drivers in Pennsylvania. One time on Eastern Parkway, some crazy ass mother fudger like cut me off or some shit and basically parked the car in the middle of Eastern Parkway, and I was just yelling at my car, what the fuck are you doing? I will kill your ass, blah blah blah. Like, what? And then they eventually drove off, but they were looking at me through the rearview mirror with like crazy ass eyes. Like, I was like, try me. You want to get out the car? I'll run your ass over. Look at this. Oh my God. How do you let that happen? Fuck. Yeah, man. Yo, one guy got shot. That was not too long ago either. This guy right here, I think it is. Cuts him off.
I'll say something. Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't shoot you.
So actually the guy who walked up and said, I have a pistol, actually didn't have a pistol. He had a phone in his hand, but the guy who was behind him, who he pulled over, was an Uber driver. He was driving his the guy who got out of his car. He was actually driving his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend home or whatever, because the guy who pulled the Uber driver over, he had like this argument with his girlfriend or some shit. He's like psycho or whatever. So the Uber driver had a gun. So when he came up and said, I got a gun, don't you, pointing his cell phone, the freaking, the Uber driver's like, oh, fuck it. Well, I'll fucking shoot you then. You're going to come and kill me, right? I mean, I would have done the same thing. I would have ran his ass over if I didn't have a gun. Like, what? You want me to just sit there and let my ass get killed? No way.
Insurance.
Okay. Wow. This is crazy.
So anyways, yeah, man. This is this video, which is funny. This lady has this YouTube channel where she literally just films her neighbor. And I just thought this video was pretty hilarious right here.
Here we go.
The ads.
Premieres
The
tonight
ads.
on
The
Fox.
Orville. That sounds like a shitty show. Like, I can't even believe this is a real person, to be honest. It's like, this has to be some kind of character. Right?
She's probably gonna get pissed that I'm filming her.
Right?
But here it goes. Hey, Billy! Oh, shit. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Well, shoot. I think she is kind of pissed. Okay, I got home. I beat her home, so she should be coming around the corner any minute. I'm gonna see where she's coming from. She's probably gonna come in hot and mad. Let's see which way she's gonna come from. Here she is.
She said on a bucket.
What was that about right there? You almost made me crash.
I'm sorry, Billy. I was just saying hi. I've never seen one of those scooters like that. That's pretty cool.
That's a woman, by the way.
Well, yeah, I know. But see, yeah, I'm running my own business, you know. I'm trying to get from Circle K back in as quick as possible. All of a sudden, I hear this, "Hey, what up, Billy?" And that makes me, you know, not know what I'm doing. And I almost crashed. I really could have hurt myself.
Sorry about that.
Damn, don't you have anything else to do?
No,
You following me now?
No, I was coming home and I just saw you out there. I think that scooter's pretty cool. How'd you get that? You got a credit card and a cell phone, and don't you have to, I mean, you know how to ride that?
I mean, first of all, these things end up on my property, okay? So, I sees it as if it lands on my property, guess what that means?
It's yours.
That's right. And because I know how to do a little wiring and how to hot wire shit, all I did is me and my buddy, we rig it up. We hot wire it. You ain't need no fancy credit card or some, you know, bullshit cell phone or anything like that. And I sells them for $40 if you know anyone that wants to, you know.
To buy it?
Yeah.
Well, you know that those have GPS trackers. They know where they're at.
Yeah, I know. I'm not that dumb, dude. I throw those things out.
You find them and you throw them out.
Oh, you think I'm gonna let them people come and find me? What are you, like a cop or something? You trying to investigate, gonna tell on me?
No, not at all. I don't care what you do with them, but I just didn't know that you could take out the tracker. And how do you hotwire it?
Well, that's my business. I ain't gonna tell you how to do it.
Oh.
But I didn't take them. They were sitting right there in my corner. And they fall over into my rocks. This is every day. Every day. These things are everywhere, and they were littering on my front yard. So guess what? They're mine. So I do what I want with them. Okay?
Okay, well that's fine.
Find your own. If you know anybody wants to buy one, though.
And you
I got $40.
How do you get that little seat on there?
What do you mean? It's ain't no seat, dude. It's a bucket. It's just a bucket. I'm tired and I don't want to stand up. I'm just going over and all that. Almost crashing. I mean, I hope you're not following me because I'm really tired of that camera. You're always following me and spying on me and all that other shit.
Hey, I'm not following you. Trust me, I'm not. I saw you riding down the street, pulled over, wanted to say hey. That's it. Sorry, I scared you.
Yeah, well, it could have been a lot worse had I crashed.
Well, those look pretty cool.
Well, if you know anyone that wants one, okay, I could get it to them for $40.
I might want one. I might want to try it. You think
don't be telling them.
You think it's safe though?
What do you say? Come on, dude. It's a scooter.
It's a scooter.
How safe you need to be?
Well, I mean,
scooter. You gotta be real dumb.
They go pretty fast though, don't they?
No. Not as fast as I want them to go. And you know what? I want your kids because they moved back. So I thought you told them to move it on the other side.
No, it's gonna stay on that side. It's too hard to move. It's just gotta stay right there. They're not doing anything to you.
Oh no, you don't think they're doing nothing to me?
Nope.
Really? Is that what you think? Your little angels, your precious angels don't say shit to me?
Well,
they bring all over their friends, dude. And they'd be making fun and they'd be throwing things. I'll tell you right now, that breaks. Hey, it wasn't me.
Well.
So you tell your kids just stay up the rocks, stop flying on me, and you too, okay?
Okay. I'll let them know. Okay, there she goes. Of course.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, yeah. So, update on the Soldier Boy thing. Apparently, he's been hit with a cease and desist because he has removed his gaming consoles. What happened, Soldier Boy? You were just bragging that no one can touch you, that Nintendo can't touch you. What's going on, my dude? So yeah, he still has some crappy stuff on here, but he can at least be safe from the litigious video game companies like Nintendo that will sue him out of existence. Yeah, I mean, he still has this crap on here, which I don't know if people have been buying as much as the emulator consoles, but yeah. This was this was an interesting video.
You're gonna give me my money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. And you're
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
God, the mental illness.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
You guys?
Ma'am.
Big ass bully, man.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was general.
Once again, it's ma'am. Please call me ma'am. I am a lady. Do you understand, maggot?
Beforehand, you fucking said sir.
Sir? Okay.
God, these people.
Motherfucker, take it outside if you want to call me sir.
Take it outside, bitch.
Fucking sir.
I apologize.
Let's go.
I mean, he kind of is showing him a sir.
Oh, kick some stuff down. I wish that woman touches me. Get
I
clocked.
need your corporate number. Because I'm going to talk.
How's your corporate number? Bow down to me. I'm a woman.
Yeah. So that was that was just a funny little thing, you know. We've talked about transgender bathrooms on this show in a previous episode. I'm not really gonna go into the whole transgender thing again, but it is a little bit comical, don't you think, when you got a male to female transgender, or I don't know, would that be transvestite in this scenario? I mean, I don't know, man. Because I understand the idea is to like dress up like a woman, but this dude is huge, and he does not look. Man, I've seen trannies that look very passable, that you would not be able to really tell if it's a woman or not. There's a lot of feminine looking transgender that you would not be able to tell, man. If you were like put two pictures up, like which one of like two hot looking women, you'd be like, which one's a transgender? You wouldn't be able to tell. But that guy was built like a football player. I mean, it's kind of comical, isn't it? It is kind of comical. All right, so we're gonna get into the gaming news. Yeah, I mean, not too much happened this week, so we're gonna see the gaming news. I don't think much happened with the gaming news either. Oh, let me see. Let me just increase this a little more so that you can see better. Okay, so we're gonna go back a week. Last Sunday was the 23rd. We'll start there, and looking on Destructoid as always. I like the format. It's just, it's easy to follow. Okay. Let's see if there's any good news going on this week that we actually care about. Tekken Cross Street Fighter is somewhat still alive. Switch port of Tekken 7 might be possible. I played a little bit of Street Fighter versus Tekken. It's all right. I actually do want to still get that and play that. I just like collecting Street Fighter games. And that's a pretty cheap game right now. If you were to get like 360 version of Street Fighter X Tekken, it's actually a pretty decent game, right? What was the Metacritic on that? Well, actually, looks good. How do I look at game rankings? You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Street Fighter X Tekken. Yeah, got decent reviews. 83%. 83% on 360. That wouldn't be a bad purchase. I wouldn't be surprised. They should definitely re-release it though. I'm assuming that whenever they're finished or near finished with Tekken Cross Street Fighter, that maybe they'll do a re-release of Street Fighter X Tekken. But that, yeah, that's pretty cool that they didn't that they're still working on it. So that's good. Oh, sorry, gotta scroll up. Let's see what else is going on here. The best game of the year from Destructoid was God of War. I still need to play that, but I have a feeling it's going to be on PS Plus at some point. So I don't know, like that, Uncharted 4. You know, these first-party games from Sony. I'm a little wary about buying them when they come out or paying for them at all, because then they'll show up on PS Plus and then I'll get it, you know, included with everything, you know. So what did you get for Christmas? What did you get for Christmas? What did I get for Christmas? Let's see. I don't know, got like a pair of pajamas and sweater, nail clipper. Not really anything too crazy, but I don't really expect anything crazy for Christmas. I mean, it's kind of don't really care too much about Christmas so much, but it is a nice excuse to give someone a gift, or, you know, get in touch with your family, things like that. What else we got here? PlayStation Classic down to $60. I mean, we've seen this coming. You know, they had reduced it to $75 like a couple weeks after it launched. Now it's down to $60. I mean, in 2019, we're going to see that thing drop to $50 and $40. I'm sure. Enhanced Persona 5 release is coming, apparently. Really wasn't a whole lot. These limited time exclusive spirits. I don't like when developers do this with games, having timed exclusive content. That kind of what steered me away from jumping into Hitman, and why I still haven't bought the new Hitman season 1. And now season 2 is out, and it's like, well, if you're gonna, you know, you might as well get them both, because the progress carries over. There really isn't much news at all, dude. As far as games. Okay, the in-game ads are removed for now. I don't know who that affected really, because I barely play Street Fighter 5 anymore. Okay. And there is really... Hey, you might want to get Soma free on GOG. I don't know if that's still up, but Soma's a pretty good game. It's it really makes you feel tense when you're walking through the game. It's not exactly doesn't really have jump scares, but it's a real tense kind of horror game. Got 2 unannounced titles from software developers of Dark Souls there. It's just a bunch of best of lists. Let's see. Is this a trailer? No. Okay, we'll take a look at this. It's a professional grade animation. Well, where's the link? Is there no link? Oh, it's here. Vimeo. Come on now. Vimeo. Vimeo. Come on now. Let's see. This Zelda animation. Fan animation. Let's see how good this is. Seems like it's cut off. Man, okay, that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Travis strikes again. Man, it's like really no real news. I guess we'll look through. There's a couple things. There was a couple things on my Twitter that I was looking at here. What were some of the things that I was looking at? Because there actually was a, you know what, there was this video. Where was that thread where the dude was like threatening to kill this guy? Trying to find where this was. Let me see. There's this guy who, let me see if I find it on YouTube. I think it happened where, in Charlotte? Knife. Some white dude held this black dude up with a knife. Fucking, I don't know, man. Whatever. Crazy shit like that happens all the fucking time anyway. Anyways, while we're here, you know, throw me a follow at the MC Faceman on Twitter. Throw me a follow. Throw me a follow here on Twitch. I would definitely appreciate it if you threw me a follow on Twitch. I'm just trying to provide content, everybody. I just want to provide content. I want to be a content creator. I want to be able to make my own schedule and like what I'm doing and have fun with what I'm doing. That's the goal. That's the goal, man. In whatever way I can. Life is too short to be stuck, you know, working your ass off for somebody else. And Daylight had said recently in in one of his live Instagram posts or whatever, he said, "Well, if you've been convinced that you don't have any talent, then that's when you've lost your soul. That's when you've lost your soul to these companies, because if you feel like you can't make it on your own and, create your own income, your own business, your own, if you can't do it on your own, if you feel like that, then your soul is gone. I mean, it's gone to these companies. And it just takes a lot of hard work and dedication to make that shit happen, man. So, I don't know, man. I feel like, I'm lucky that I feel lucky that I even made it to age 33. Like, even to this day, like, I feel like I'd be lucky if I make it to, age 60. Just because of how the world works and how I work. And, And I'm not really the type of person that wants to live super long, because when you get super old, it's like, you're very limited on a lot of things. And I know it's like a mental thing that you have to overcome. There's people like in their 70s and 80s lifting weights and shit like that, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. All I know is that a lot of people are making money through this YouTube and Twitch thing. I would also like to be able to live off of this YouTube and Twitch thing. And I'm just thinking about, as much as possible, different ideas. Like, how can I do this? Like I need to finish setting up my my merch thing. I'm trying to come up with this. Not necessarily merch for me, but like a t-shirt, online t-shirt store. It's good to have different streams of income, especially nowadays. Especially when the market is just like, going up and down. You don't know what's going to happen. So many economists saying that, we're ripe for another recession, maybe even a Great Depression. Because after the 2008 recession, all those companies got bailed out, and they just went back, doing the same business practices. Well, anyways, that's the show for today. Like I had posted on Twitter, it's going to be a short one today because just not a lot has been happening throughout the week. Probably the biggest news was that new Russian missile and the fact that Trump, allegedly pulled the troops out of Syria. And now, from what I understand, the Syrian government is being invited to control the Kurdish areas again because the Kurds are concerned that the Turks will go in there and basically genocide them because they have a long history between the Kurds and the Turks. The Turkish government considers the Kurds terrorists. But from what I understand, the Kurds have been one of the main opponents of ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria. So, it's a big, complicated mess. It's good that Trump decided to take us out of there. At the behest, despite what his advisors have been telling him. Because his advisors, of course, have been saying, you got to, keep the war going and stuff. And really, Trump should find some advisors that aren't neocons like Bolton. Stop bringing back these war criminals that keep, sending our troops out into the Middle East and all these other places to maintain hegemony across the world. We just need to focus on our own shit, our own domestic security, our economy, advancing our technologies, taking care of our environment, things like that. All right, so please give me a follow on Twitter, sub to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. I am the MC Faceman on those platforms. I would really appreciate your support. If you would like to donate, if you want to help support, grow this channel in a more meaningful way, you can go to streamlabs.com/the MC Faceman, where you can send a donation direct to me. And if you do that during one of my streams, an alert will pop up on the screen saying, Bob1234 just donated this amount of money. And then I can be like, what? I can go crazy, and you can laugh at my foolishness. So have a great Sunday, guys. I hope you had a good week, and I hope this is December 30th, so the new year is just a couple days away. I wish you guys a wonderful new year. My New Year's resolution is just to basically continue growing the channel. I also need to find some full-time work very soon because my unemployment is going to run out. So I'm going to find some full-time work. That'll make it a little harder to keep creating content. So if I can start getting income for doing this, I won't have to spend 40 hours a week doing something else and coming home tired, and you know what I mean? So that's just how it is. We all got bills to pay. I live in New York City, and nothing is cheap out here, let me tell you. All right, so once again, I'm signing off. I hope to see you in the chat sometime in the future. Hope to see you on Twitter. Commenting on YouTube. Any likes or comments on YouTube and subs, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. You take care, and I'm out.